Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors have started off the season unbelievably efficiently. One of the big reasons I believe is because they've adjusted their style to have more shooters, which gives them more spacing and gives Steph himself more space to work on the inside or the outside. However, I think this leads to one big question as defenses have adjusted on how to guard them, and that is going to be, how do you handle Gary Payton? We're going to discuss why that's important. Let's go. Gary Payton is a multifaceted player that does a lot of good things for the Warriors. One thing he does struggle with on offense, though, is his shooting ability. We can see this in the Rockets' first possession, in which they actually put their big Sengun on Gary Payton. This has a couple of big effects, and the main is that Sengun can essentially help off whenever he wants. Because Payton doesn't represent a threat beyond the three-point line, what this effectively does is it makes it so everyone else on the inside driving has a lot less space to work with. We can see as the Warriors go through this motion right here, one of two things should be open. It should either be a layup for Draymond or it should be a wide open corner three to a decent three-point shooter. Okay, we can see the Houston Rockets adjusted over. You had two go with Steph. That meant you had Draymond open in the middle. What this defender simply does is says, we don't care if Gary Payton shoots. We're going to help over and we're going to stop this layup. And we can make mistakes like this now because of how inefficient Gary Payton is from shooting from the outside. A lot of basketball fans and analysts simply see the end result, which is Payton missing a shot or something where the Warriors don't get a great look. But what they don't see is the stalled possessions that don't lead to anything because the Rockets can put their slowest, least mobile defender on someone that can't shoot. He can sag off. He can make sure Steph doesn't get an open layup to the rim. He doesn't need to guard his player on the perimeter, especially above the break. Gary Payton's shooting even in a worse percentage. It's quite often said, and I agree, that teams are as good essentially as their worst player, and teams are going to target that weakest link as much as they can because they want to have that advantage. So again, as this ball is going to get moved around, we watching the defender for Gary Payton, any drive that happens, the defender for Gary Payton is going to step up and make sure that there's no opening. Podziemski drives, defender steps up. Okay? Defender loosely goes back out with Payton, but as soon as Buddy Hield's going to drive here, defender steps up. And again, because of the lack of respect, it forces a bad possession, even though that doesn't look like Gary Payton caused that. He did not help the spacing because of his ability of the defender can just leave him. So now there are a lot of ways that the Warriors can use tactics to try and mitigate this. However, a lot of them involve Steph Curry, and Steph Curry can't be on the floor every time Gary Payton is. I mean, I guess he can, but it seems like just a hassle to try and work with. So the easiest, more clear-cut one is using Gary Payton as a screener, because if he gets any piece of the guy that Steph is guarding, it's going to be an open shot. So that is one way to generate an open shot no matter what. So then I understand that the response is Gary Payton is in for defense. He's in for the intangibles. And yeah, I agree. He does do those both very well. Great defender. He gets offensive rebounds. He leaks out in transition for great easy buckets. He cuts really well. All of those things I agree he does really well. And so that's the question that the Warriors ultimately have to answer is, does his harm on the offensive end spacing wise balance out with his benefits that he provides for offensive rebound, defensive rebounding, overall defense in general? Because he does have a lot of those, and that's a tough thing to weigh between because they're so different ends of the spectrum. It's hard to look at them objectively and compare which one is more important than the other. My personal thought is, even though I love Gary Payton, I probably would have him play a lot less. I'd probably try and have somebody that can shoot the ball. Is Melton still injured? Somebody that can shoot the ball and play decent defense, at least command a little bit of gravity on the outside, so that way your defense is able to adjust, or offense is able to function as efficiently as possible. Bless.